Welcome back to Tony's Top Tips Workshop. What it is today, I'm going to show you a couple of things. First thing is I've had one or two not strange messages but quite nice messages really on social media, as well as my my actual channel, but people's kept asking about I see a motorbike in the background and it's covered up. What is it? Well, you might be aware from some of the gear I wear, motorcycles are my passion, and to say that I have one is is a bit of a misunderstanding really between me and wife. I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go through them. The first one is a Honda. It's a 2011, and it's a Honda. A lot probably would have heard of it. A DN01. I'll show you in a minute, and I'll explain a little bit about it. They're quite rare in that sense. The next one that I keep here is me pride and joy, which is me Yamaha MT01. That's becoming quite sought after now, and my third bike is a 1986, I think it is. It's a VFR 750 V4, one of the gear driven camshafts, bulletproof engine really. It's been nut and bolt done to my spec, which is DeWalt racing colours. I always liked them, so I've done the bike, painted it, done it all myself. I haven't had anybody do anything. And then the next one we have, I share with my brother, which is a VF 500, which is I think that's an 84. That motorcycle has been completely restored, and it's a fully faired one, and for 500cc V4 it's very quick, but that is the old chain driven camshafts before they went to the gear driven camshafts. But it's a lovely bike to ride. And then I have a Kawasaki Z650. It's now a classic, so there's no tax or MOT for it. And it's a 1976 or 7, and it's in the metallic green, and that's been fully restored. Engine, everything, did all that myself. And then my brother's got an R1, and I think it's a 2000 or 2001. It's one of the last carburetor models, and it's painted in the Kenny Roberts yellow and black and that racing colours. Now this came from the factory like this. This was not painted, so it's quite rare. I think it's round about 9,000 miles on the clock. It is absolutely stunning. It's immaculate. Really is a nice motorcycle. But my brother likes riding the Z650. It's a strange thing that. And it wasn't till maybe a couple of years ago I had a Z1300, the monster, and that was in mint condition. It had round about, I think, about 13,000 miles on it. It was 1981 A3 model, and I love the bike, but it becoming a bit of a handful. It was so heavy, and as you're getting older, you want something that's comfortable to ride, because then it becomes you're in danger to yourself if you're losing a little bit of strength or you've got a bad knee. It doesn't take any prisoners as that motorcycle. So I did. That was in pristine condition, as I say, long mileage, and it was kind of a thing that I always wanted. I got it up, purchased it off my mate. He had it. He could no longer ride it because of the amount of torque in it. He broke both wrists, so I always liked it, so I purchased, but I had to get rid of that about a couple of years ago. I didn't have the room, and I didn't have any inclination to ride it anymore, so I passed it on. Guy from London bought it, but I couldn't believe the amount of interest he had over it. But anyway, that's the story of the motorcycles that I've acquired. I'd acquire another one if I had more room, but I haven't. But I'm going to take you outside now, and first motorcycle I'll show you is the Yamaha MT01. Now, some might have seen this, but I presume a lot of you would have seen one of these. Right, here we are. This is the Yamaha MT01. It's a 57 plate, and I think the mileage on it's 3,000. It's just short, shy of 4,000 miles. It's a 1700cc V-twin, and I have never ever rode anything with as much torque, low end torque. It only revs to about 5.5 maximum. I think it's 5.5. I'll have a look. Yeah, well, you're into red at 5.5, but it's so red line from 5.5 up to 7, but I've no need to go up that side. It's truly an absolute monster. Lovely to ride, comfortable to ride, but as I say, the acceleration, low end torque is incredible. And if you look at some of the detail on it, there's no markings, no damage on the bike whatsoever. This is just cable tied up because of its footrest, because when I'm walking in and out of the garage of that little room, that I keep hitting my shin on it, and you know, excuse somebody pressing the horn. It does annoy me. I won't get out of the car. And as you can see underneath the seat up there, it's got the aquaphobic exhaust on, which came standard. If she'll start, I'll start her up. I'll just go down the other side though first, show you the front end. It really does. You can do most things without even touching the brakes. Just shut up. And that's this side. That there is the oil tank. There's a little bit of dust in it. I consider it a little bit grubby actually at the moment, but people say, oh, isn't that clean? No, it's not clean by my standards. It does have a lot of, like the front brakes, it has bits and bats on, I think, from the R1. I swapped to 57 plate 1000 Fireblade RR1 with the twin exhaust under the seat, and that had only about 4,000 miles on the clock. Bought the bike, thought I'd love it, always wanted one, and I hated the thing from buying it. I thought I'd get used to it, but I didn't. I found it to be a young man's bike. I was so cramped on it, it was incredible. Lovely bike, lovely machine, but not for me. So I swapped it for this. And of course, when the story behind it was that the Yamaha shipped these over in crates, and they arrived at Charlie Yamaha. And what are these? They opened them up, and the MT01. And they said, and I can only go what we've been told, and they knew nothing about it really. They put it on, but they were that expensive that no one would buy them. So unfortunate, they were a bit of a flop really. And the gentleman that bought this had the aquaphobics put on from new, so I've got the old standard cans that go inside there, because those are plastic shrouds here. They're plastic, and inside is your actual exhaust. But there's a cavity between this and the metal side. That's why you can sit on this. It doesn't get hot. And if you look underneath at the rear, you probably just see up top there a fan, and that takes air between the exhaust silencer and the cowl, keeps it cool. And as I say, it became really a flop, but there's not that many, and I know there's very few in that condition. It's a bit of savings really, isn't it? It's money in the bank. But it's lovely, and that's at the moment it's my pride and joy. I'm back. What I forgot to do is let you hear it, if it'll start. You should pick it up, I'm sure. There you go. The battery, I'll step a bit away because it is quite noisy. The battery needs charging. I don't like to keep them on all the time. I just start them about every 2 months I'll start them. It's been about 2 months since this was started, so but oh, she's lovely. It's not very heavy. Handles is lovely. Really well does handling of it. But it's a big V twin. There's no vibrations with it like you get some with a lot of bikes. It's really smooth. As I say, the pistons are like buckets. So right, what I'll do is I'll kill this, and then I'll show you the Honda. Right, I'm back. Here we are. Here we have the Honda DN01. As you can see, it's quite concept looking. It has a lot of bits from the blade on, brakes, and levers and various other bits and bats, but it's predominantly, now the story behind this is a 2011 one. The story behind this is they were first shown, I believe, in 2005. Correct me if I'm wrong, at the was it the Tokyo Motor Show, and it was a concept bike again with the old story. Big chunky exhaust, chunky fat wheel. That's the controls and the layout. I'll go through them in a bit different. This is a 700. Is it anyway? I wasn't too sure. I know I should know, but anyway, it's a V twin. But the thing about this one is, it is fully automatic, no mistake. And the reason why I like this is the fact that, and the reason why it's so collectible, it's got footboards, as you can see. It's got a foot brake, and it is so easy to ride. It's not particularly light, but because of the low down sort of seating position, it's a low centre of gravity. Now, I've never rode anything as easy as this, and it's a dream to ride. You can go out and enjoy your riding. You know, I mean, my MT is good, the Yamaha, but I've just shown you. But this is super easy. I'll just go to this side for you. You can see around that side. It's a footboard, but no controls there, obviously. Now I'll just switch on, and you can see what happens when you switch on. you have a neutral light, and I'll just switch that off. What it is this is just your Oxford heated grips, so I don't really use that. It don't go out in cold weather. You have your start button, and you have your drive and neutral, kill switch, and you have a mode button at the back here on this, where my finger is. That mode button you can select between sport mode and normal mode. You can also alter it here as well, and here you can put it into manual mode, and you can actually pre-select your gears, so you can change up or change down depending, plus or minus, and the sport mode. But I believe it has about 8 gears, but I'm a great believer in, and they just horn, pass and indicators as normal. That's where you fill the tank up, and it's the tank's down at bottom, so it runs down into, that's why it's a low centre of gravity. The mirrors are just folded back at the moment, they just flick back out, so as you can see. But I'm a great believer in it. I mean, I've put it in sport mode and it does shift, but I believe in get it in drive, put it in auto, and let it do the work. Take the hard work out of changing gear, and this thing's, as I say, super easy to, it's good on fuel, super easy to ride, it's good on fuel. The foot brake, it's ABS on it. It's pretty good as well as ABS. I've had to use it, and but the foot brake, the rear brake operates the front both calipers, obviously, but the rear brake, which is there, the foot mode, applies one caliper at the front, whichever side it is, and the rear one, and then and that's so you can put all on that if you want, and use that all day long for braking. It's, you know, it's a different style of riding, and those that ride Harleys will be used to it with the footboards. It took a bit of time for me to get used to putting your feet up there, but anyway, that's the thing. But the unique thing about this is, that's, I'll just show you, that's the rear caliper there, as you can see what my finger's pointing at, but underneath you can see it there, that is your handbrake caliper, and it has obviously a handbrake, which is this. It's on at the moment, you just pull it again and it goes off, pull it, it locks on, so it's one of those. And the reason why that is, it's safety. You've got to think, you can't, if I left this on a hill, you would normally, I mean, MT, I'd put it into gear so that it can't roll back. If you didn't have that in gear on a slippy surface, it'd roll back, so you put the handbrake on. It's quite good, really, and it does work. But as I say, it's that's the Honda, and I'm back around now. So those are 2 motorcycles. I hope it's pleased the people that's been asking me about them. Whatever, why do I keep them covered up? I keep them covered up for one reason, really. Is I have a canopy that comes out if there's any light showers are out, but I keep them covered up because I look after them. And if I'm working in here and it starts to rain, they've got full waterproof covers, which to me is, you've got to have one. They're excellent waterproof covers, probably one of the best I've ever had, which are the Oxford ones. They are really superb. But yeah, them's my little toys. Wife disagrees, she keeps saying when you're selling them, are you getting rid of one? No, not yet. I mean, both bikes, I mean, they're going up in value, because that one, the Honda's rare, and if you look on wherever you look for a DN01, you won't find many at all. And if you want, I could ride from here up to the top of Scotland on that and get off, not stop and get off and be comfortable. you know, on most bikes you wouldn't be able to do that. You've got to ride one of those to appreciate how easy they are. I mean, my son used to have a Peugeot Speed Fight 100. That was twist and go. That was a scooter. Lovely thing to ride. It's not like that. The cornering on it's incredibly good. Road holding. And as I say, my Yamaha is my pride and joy. I always wanted one from first seeing the first test drive I ever rode on one was at Keighley, and I went at a motorcycle shop. Before I bought this one, I thought, my brother says, for God's sake, have a test ride on one. He said, because what happened with Fireblade, you didn't have a test ride, you didn't like it from day one. I said, yeah. I said, you're right, I will do. So I booked myself in for this test drive. They had one, a used one in, and the thing about it was he couldn't separate. The clutch was stuck because it's a hell of a clutch on it, and it had been stood for that long that they couldn't free it off. Eventually they did, and he said, right, take it out. So I went out for about 20 minutes, and I went up the road, went all about, and I thought, this is funny. I'm hardly touching the brakes here. And then I thought, yeah, I'll turn it round and go back because I like them, but I'm not obviously buying this one. He tried to sell me it, but I wasn't having any of it. And then I was coming down the hill, quite a steep hill, and I just shut off, and before I knew it, the engine braking alone had you somewhere sat halfway up the tank. It was incredible because I weren't used to it at the time. It doesn't take you long to get used to it, but as I was saying earlier, when you're riding that and you're approaching a roundabout, normally on the Z650 R1 or VFR, you change down, you know you're in right gear. No, on that, until you get used, you're in wrong gear. Yeah, you soon find out. So, but it's, as I say, those are my little prides and joy. I'm going to do a bit of a video now on the on my next project. So until then, as I always say, be safe, be careful out there. Until next time, bye for now.